I think there's a huge thing that we can get from that. It's preparation meets timing. And you have to put yourself out there, and you don't know what is going to happen. But if she never put herself out there, she would have never had the opportunity, the awareness to be found by HGTV. And that's how it happens.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me. Today, I have a star on. She's a physical therapist. She owns a practice in Park City, Utah, and she is the current star of the HGTV show Help, I Wrecked My House. Is that right? Right? Joanna Kahn, welcome. We're going to get into all of this here in a second, but welcome to the podcast.
What a teaser.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
All right. So why don't we get the HGTV thing? Let's just get that out there.
Sure.
Okay. Is that cool? Why were you on HGTV? I'm a huge fan of the show. I'm a huge fan of HGTV. If I'm not watching football, I'm watching HGTV. Okay?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
So you were on this show. Okay, so can you explain what happened there?
Yeah, it's a wild ride. I know. I'm still pinching myself.
No.
So the long and short of it is we actually applied back in the day, 20 years ago, to HGTV when they were giving away free remodels.
Okay.
And the file was too big. Something happened. It didn't upload. So it's kind of like, one of those times where you're like, your dream goes on hold, and you never know what's really going to happen.
Right.
Anyways, fast forward 18 years. And then my mother-in-law called my husband and said, hey, one of the HGTV shows is moving to Park City. You guys should apply. And he said, okay, great. And that sounds good. Like, what's the name of the show? And she said, Help, I Wrecked My House. And he said, did we wreck our house? And she's like, oh yeah, you totally wrecked your house.
That's awesome.
We're like, it was that bad. It is for DIYers, right? It's for people who take on projects that are too big or get to a point where like it's above their pay grade is the way that I explain it. And we were certainly one of those. We had picked away at our house. It had been converted from a duplex to a single family home several times. And we moved in there when we were dating and married and then had kids and started kind of bumping out our elbow room. Yeah. And man, I mean, we did what we could do, but there was no way that we could de-duplex this house. There was that's certainly above our pay grade. And we both value our marriage more than we do our house. Yeah. So we said, not going to work. So we're going to hire this out.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So was the show everything that you had hoped for?
Yeah. I think it was. And I would say, God, does this sound corny? But it was a little bit more than what I thought it would be, which is great. And we're always one to look for life lessons. Right. And we definitely got a bunch of life lessons out of this one. And one of them was letting go of control. And for people in my inner circle and now everybody on your show, I have a history of being a perfectionist. I like being involved. Right. So to get a loan, I mean, imagine this, getting a loan, you give your money to somebody you just meet. Right. I mean, put yourself in those shoes for a minute. Yeah. That is wild. And you have no say. I mean, you have some inspirations you give them. But I remember I reached out later and I said, hey, I also love this tile. And they were like, yeah, that's great. But all decisions have been made. So thank you for that input. Too little, too late.
Wow. So letting go.
Yeah, letting go.
But the outcome was still pretty darn good.
Yeah, so good. I mean, we are so lucky day to day to live where we live and now to have this sanctuary to come back to because I have aging parents and younger kids. And so there is a lot of pulls in my life. There are a lot of pulls in my life in different directions. And so to be able to come back and to have something that is done, we were perpetually conversing about what our next project would be for the house. And it's kind of like the 7 stages of brief but I call it like the 7 stages of remodeling, where you like get excited. You're like, oh yeah, okay, I saw this picture. We could do that over here. And then you talk and you're like, okay, let's save some money. How much would it be? Okay, we're going to do this. And then you realize that it's actually a load-bearing wall and you actually shouldn't touch that. And then you become resigned and then you're just in full resignation.
Wow. Well, we got to see the show. So we're actually finishing up a 3-day event. And at the end of day 1 and day 2, we actually watched 2 1-hour episodes of the actual show. And I can tell you that her house is stunning now. And it was quite, and by the way, she is a natural on camera, just was a spark of the show. Okay. Let me ask you one more question about the show. Because I always wonder how did someone like a Jasmine Roth get to this point and get on the show? So as you were working with her, like her journey, to where she's at, like what do you know now about her behind the scenes? And was it luck for her to get a gig like that, or like, or is is she just really hard worker and like you can see why she's at the level she's at right now?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that for her, just like I think in a lot of situations, people become successful. They have preparation and they have timing, right?
Yeah.
And so for Jasmine, she started doing some of this work. She was doing real estate while she was in college back in Boston. And then she started taking on larger projects and posting. And I mean, she is self-made.
Right.
She is self-made. And I do draw certain parallels to what you're trying and what you are teaching us to implement in your masterminds, because that is what she did, right? You're taking on these larger projects. You are completing tasks. You're understanding where your weaknesses are, but also like where your trajectory lies.
Right.
And so she put herself out there, and then she was discovered, right? In terms of going on HGTV, she had a show before Help I Wrecked My House and called Hidden Potential, and living in Southern California. And then she decided that wasn't the success story that they wanted. They wanted to raise their kids in the mountains.
Right.
So now she's there with her family, and our kids go to school together.
Right. Wow.
And so we see her at drop off. We see her at pickup. We see her around town. They love my husband's restaurant, the Corner Store in Park City.
Yeah.
And so now they're an integrated part of this community, which is really cool. It's kind of that kind of full circle moment, because this is the first season she's ever designed in a mountain town. So she is stepping into a new realm for her.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I think there's a huge thing that we can get from that. It's preparation meets timing. And you have to put yourself out there, and you don't know what is going to happen. But if she never put herself out there, she would have never had the opportunity, the awareness to be found by HGTV. And that's how it happens, and that's really awesome. Okay. Now let's talk about your business and your journey. So you've been a physical therapist for how long now?
20 years. Over
20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stopped counting after 20.
Okay. All right. And you've had your business for how long now?
I opened personal PT in 2010.
In 2010. Okay. And you've been in my world now for about a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
What has happened since you've come into my world? And I'm not talking necessarily like a testimony, but like you've been doing this for a while. Okay. You started in 2010. You started with me in 2024. Okay. So you're 14 years in. What has changed from the first 14 years saying, oh, I want to start working with this guy now?
Yeah. I do think it has something to do with preparation and timing. Timing wise, I was really lucky that I had my business when I did, raising young kids, because I was able to flex with me when I needed to flex. I also went through chronic illness for a year and a half, and so I wasn't able to work. And so when I say 14 years, it's not 14 years of full-time work.
Right.
But I will say that once my kids got older and my health became stable and I was able to work more consistently, now I know is my time to dive in. And I needed someone to take me to that next level. I needed someone who I have always had big dreams, but just because you have big dreams doesn't mean that you know how to execute on them.
Right.
I needed a roadmap, and you were able to give me that roadmap. And the beautiful thing is, I'm not, I would say that I'm not special in terms of the people that you work with. I started with your low ticket items. I started with the free ones. I started with the 5-day challenges. And it's so nice because you get to dip your toes into the world that you create. And I can see that passion that you have for people, and you just exhibited it. I mean, the people you talk about, oh yeah, you were in my world for like a year and a half, right? You're spot on, and it's incredible. It really is.
Yeah.
And you really do care about the people. So for me, I mean, my business is called Personal PT. Everything is personalized.
Right.
And part of what I gravitated towards with your program is the fact that it's personalized.
Right.
But so I mean, long and short of it is, and I started my business in 2010. It was able to flex with me. I dove in 5 years ago. I realized I'm going to burn out. So I was looking for answers. You came up through word of mouth, jumped in terms of kind of dipping my toes first. And now I'm all the way in.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about business highs, lows. I want you to be a mentor right now. What would you tell someone that is kind of in your shoes? And here's the shoes that I'm talking about. You know, someone that has been in their business. I have a lot of people that I know that are part-time in their business for many different reasons, right? But they know that it's time to go all in, but they're scared to go all in.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person? What would you say to that person? Because that was you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that I'm fortunate enough to be old enough where I really recognize that the low points, the stress points, actually propel me forward because they force me to make decisions and they force me to step forward into a better version of myself. And that's what I would say to the people who are listening right now. If you are considering this, there is a reason. Your brain has been marinating on this. Your soul and your heart has been kind of tugged in multiple directions, most likely. And when we get to that breaking point, it's really hard to deny it. Right. So you've got to find, first of all, what resonates with you, and you got to get clear on what your goals are. And sometimes that means letting go of what you're doing right now, because if you let go, you're creating space for the creation and the work of what you're going to be experiencing for your future self.
Gosh, ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth? It's hard to let go.
Oh,
it's so hard to let go.
Right?
You know, it's really not that hard to learn new stuff. It really isn't. You know, it's like, and by the way, I think most of us, we're destined for growth. We love the growth. We love to learn something new. I mean, even like we're talking today about like clinical stuff, and I love to go to a CEU course and learn something new, and right, or learn a new skill. All that's great, but then the things that you're doing right now are part of your identity.
Yeah.
So in order to take that big leap, you have to take things out. That's sometimes really hard.
Oh, for sure. And I think a couple things. First of all, we're not necessarily taught about systems in our life.
Yeah.
And we are taught that more is more is more. And that can be on the continuing ed front, but that can also be on the emotional front. Like, just say yes, just say yes, just say yes. I believe that, and this is for me, I'm sure that this will resonate with a lot of your listeners, in that one of the hardest skills, but one of the most important skills of life is actually editing. Editing what you bring in,
Right.
because we're so conditioned more.
Right. Yeah, it's so true. It is so true. I've had to do a lot of that in many different areas of life. You know, like, wait a minute. I've got to make space I can't just continue to say yes to everything or I'm going to break, you know, and sometimes you have to let go of things in certain areas so that it gives you the room to be able to go all in.
Yeah.
It's hard to go all in when you're already all in like 14 other things.
Totally.
Right. So, yeah. I totally get that.
The other thing I would say is that I think that it opens up space for people to hear their intuition. I firmly believe in intuition and resonance and being able to see how something sits with you.
Yeah.
And that is when I think you make better decisions. And when you can, even if the decision doesn't work out, you know you sat with it and you know it felt right.
Right. Felt right. Yeah.
And I don't think people have that time these days. It is on your phone. It's to work. It's putting the kids to bed. It's getting meals. I'm trying to get ahead with CEUs. I'm trying to get ahead with my business. It never stops.
Right.
So how can you create that space? It can be 2 minutes, but if you do 2 minutes, you know, you start getting a habit of it. That intuition starts to be louder.
Right. So you're saying if you create space, your intuition voice will be louder. You talked about just even 2 minutes here and there. What are things that you do to create that space? Because you're busy.
Yeah.
Right? You're on the move. You've got the kids, you've got the business, you've got all these things that you're doing. How do you create space?
There are several non-negotiables for me. One is physical movement, and another one is nature, and another one's family. Work actually comes, not always. I mean, in my hierarchy, it comes fourth, actually.
Yeah.
But most often I'll sacrifice movement or something of the sort. But if I can get my nature and my movement, allows me to calm down. And then I've just been sometimes sitting and staring at a blank wall. I swear. It sounds ridiculous. But like just taking a moment. And sometimes it happens in the transitions. Instead of rushing out of the clinic, okay, can I do this slowly? Take a minute in the car and then have my transition to home.
Yeah.
But
I watch you here.
Yeah.
And I was like, there are times where I see you upstairs and you're like meditating and I'm just like, oh man, she's got this thing dialed in. I'm like, man, so that's why I had to ask you. I was like, because I notice no matter what we're doing here, whether it's at lunch, whether it's the break, but you seem so grounded, you know? So yeah. I think many of us kind of like watch that like, man, she's got something figured out here.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I think part of it's knowing yourself.
Yeah.
I also think that can change over life. I think that I was more of an introverted extrovert when I was growing up, and now I'm more of an extroverted introvert. I need a little bit more time to myself in order to stay balanced and to calm the voices in my head that bring up doubt and bring up questioning and bring up fear. Because trust me, I was having imposter syndrome here yesterday. I'm just sharing that with everybody. And I had to sit with myself and I had to write a couple things down because I don't want to sit in that space as I grow from incremental to exponential. That is the phase that I am in terms of last year to this year.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you're super inspiring.
Oh,
you really
you.
are. You
well,
really
so
are.
You.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Can you tell people where they can find you online?
Yes.
So let them know.
Okay, so come find me, please. I would love to connect with any and all of you. My website is personal-pt.com. I am personal PT for you, number 4, with Instagram and personal PT on Facebook. You'll find all my links on my website as well. But if anybody's in Park City and needs any intel, you let me know because we got wide arms.
Okay.
We bring them all in.
Well, guess what? I'm going to Park City to go visit her and her family in a few weeks, and I'm really excited about it. If you guys reach out to her on any platform and you DM her, please DM bookmark. Okay? All right? And if you DM bookmark, just trust me, DM bookmark. and you might get something special. All right. Anyways, Joanna Kahn, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We appreciate you so much.
Oh, love being here.
Yes.
Thank you for all that you offer, and your legacy is immense, Greg.
Oh,
Thank you
so much. I appreciate you. I really do. All right, guys. Till next time.